Hi, besties. Welcome back to season 3 of Let's Get an Insight, where we talk about mental health, gossip, hot and trendy topics, and so much more. Before we get into this week's episode, I do want to talk to you guys about Anchor by Spotify. It's the easiest way to make a podcast with everything you need in one place. Anchor has tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. When hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcast, and more. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. And best of all, Anchor is free. Hi guys, welcome back to Let's Get an Insight. I am actually really upset right now. I have been recording probably for the past 20 minutes and I forgot to click record, and I was so into these topics. So I'm starting over. So please listen to the whole episode. It's a really good one because I know this because I already recorded for like 20 minutes and I know what I talked about and it was really good. So anyways, I rambled in the first couple minutes of the last episode, but I'm just going to jump straight into it. Today we are talking about purpose. Okay, a little side note. If I sound like I'm whispering, I am keeping it a little lower this time because I have family in my house. But I wanted to get this episode up for you guys. So we're talking about purpose. And in the last episode that got deleted, or that I never pressed record on, I was talking about how a couple days ago, I was cleaning the litter box in my house. I have 4 cats, so I am always cleaning the litter box. And I was cleaning the litter box and it was late at night. I was cleaning it because I always clean it before I go to bed. That way, whenever I let my cats out in the morning, they can go into a clean litter box. So I was cleaning the litter box, and then my sister comes up to me and she goes, "Hey, can I ask you something?" And I was like, kind of like, you know, when people ask you like, "Hey, you know, can I ask you something?" Like, or can we talk? Like, you just like instantly feel like a pit in your stomach and you're like, oh my God, what is she about to ask? Or like, what is the last bad thing that I did? That way I can like come up with an explanation on what I did. Or you know what I'm talking about? Like, you just think the worst. So she goes, "What is your life purpose?" And that was definitely not the question that I was expecting. And I was like, what? And she's like, "Yeah, what's your life purpose?" And it sucked because I didn't know. And I instantly kind of got like a little frustrated about this question because I was like, this is what I've been trying to figure out for the last couple months. And now here I have somebody that's asking me, and it's not just like anybody, it's like my younger sister. And if you're new to this podcast, then you may not know that I am Latina and I am the first daughter, the first female in my family. Like, it's my brother, then it's me, and then it's my 2 younger siblings. And being a female in a Latina household is already so freaking hard. I talk a lot about this in this podcast, so hopefully it can give you guys an insight if you're not a Latina, or if you're not Hispanic and don't really know about how hard our culture is on females. But not only that, it's even harder when you're the first female daughter in your household, because you automatically get promoted into being a second mom to your younger siblings. And it's something that has been really hard for me now that my siblings are younger, because now I'm at the age where people are starting to ask me if I want kids, and I'm like, girl, like, I feel like I'm already burnt out about from being a mom, because these 2 younger kids, like, yeah, a lot of the raising was done by me. So I don't, like, when somebody comes to me and is like, "Oh my God, like, you need to be having kids, like, you should be so excited." I'm like, having kids. I just raised two of them. Yeah, like, yeah, maybe I didn't physically pop these children out, but that's not all it is. You know, that's like, yeah, it's a big part, but that's definitely not, you know, like, the most important part. The most important part is raising them into being decent humans. And like, Miss Girl, I just did that, and I feel like I'm barely like, I'm starting to like figure myself out. And it's hard because, again, like, talking about purpose, I'm in a position where I'm like, okay, I'm 23, and my peers around me, right? Like, if I'm in the middle and there's a bubble and there's peers around me, I have peers that are a little older than me, right? So like, let's say it's like up to 26, okay? And then I have peers that are younger than me, right? Let's say it's up to like 19, and I'm in the middle of this bubble, and I'm like, okay, I don't fit in with the ones that are a little older than me because they are getting married, getting engaged, having children, moving in with their significant others, which I don't have any interest in doing that just yet. But I also don't fit in younger than me because those people are going off to college, or not going off to college. Well, a lot of them are going off to college. A lot of them are finishing college. A lot of them are starting a career. And I don't know what I want to do yet. So here I am in the middle, and I'm struggling. I'm struggling here. And I feel like as soon as I turn 23, if you haven't listened to my episode 23 and Confident, I talk about being confident in like my own skin. And it just shows how much can change off just a couple weeks, right? Because when I recorded the 23 and Confident, I felt like I was in the right path, like I knew what I wanted to do. And now, even a couple weeks later, we're literally in the same month, I'm already in my first rut of being 23. But I also feel like I'm starting to put myself in a position where I'm like thinking that I'm running out of time, when I'm like, Miss Girl, you're 23. You're not running out of time. Like, comparison is the worst enemy, and that's what I'm doing. I'm comparing myself to where other people are at in their life, where we didn't have a similar life, right? A lot of them, they're excited to have kids because they were an only child, or because they didn't necessarily have to raise their siblings, right? A lot of their younger siblings instantly got put into daycare, or they had older siblings, but they're the youngest child. And so they're very excited to open up that chapter. And for me, I feel like I just closed that chapter that now that my siblings are older and they can take care of themselves, right? Sorry, I'm drinking orange juice and this thing is buzzing. But I guess that's why it was so hard for me to have this question be asked by somebody that's younger than me, and that it happens to be my younger sibling, because I feel like in life I have had to always guide her, right? Because I was a form of parent in her life. So I've had to guide her throughout life. And so I am like, okay, she very much knows what she wants to do with her life, and I think she has a beautiful plan, and I will be there to help her succeed and help her get as far as she can with her goal. And I think that, again, that's a parent, like that would be something that a parent would have to do, but I kind of give myself that responsibility automatically. Like, yes, my mom is very involved in her life and in our lives and is there through everything. She is a single mom. But I am like, okay, well, I also need to take this responsibility. Like, I need to help her do everything that she's got to do to get to where she wants to go, right? Like a normal parent would just like send their kid off to college and like help them pay, like their tuition and help them get their first car and all of these things, right? And then I'm like, okay, but it's also, I feel like, quote unquote, embarrassing that it's her now asking me. And I had to talk to myself and be like, it's okay. Like, it's okay if my younger sibling now guides me through life a little bit, right? I guess the best, like thing I can relate it to right now in social media is a lot of these TikTokers, right? A lot of these TikTokers, it was a sibling that went viral and became famous, and now their older siblings are kind of figuring out their career because of the help of their younger sibling. And quote unquote, that's not how it's supposed to be, right? Because what does that even mean? Like, it's not supposed to be like that. And I'm sure that's how it is for a lot of YouTubers and Instagrammers. A lot of them became famous or grew a following and grew a career out of this, and then their older siblings started social media after that and automatically gained a lot of following and recognition because of the following that their younger sibling had. And so it's okay, and it's not like I should be embarrassed about it. But I'm having that mental struggle with, it's okay if she helps guides me, right? Because even asking me that question opened myself up to something that I had been avoiding. And, I talked about in my last couple episodes, I struggled a lot this past semester of college. I struggled a lot. I didn't see the purpose in what I was doing. I really, really, truly saw it as I'm wasting my time, because nothing here is fulfilling me. Nothing here makes me feel like I'm in the right path. And I'm somebody who's very spiritual and very intuitive, and I feed off like energy, and I'm like, I don't feel right. Like, I don't feel good where I'm at. So what is my purpose? Like, I'm struggling because I started this podcast in 2020 during the pandemic, and I was still in high school. I was finishing off, I believe, my high school degree, because I finished my last year online. And I was also doing college classes, and nobody was home, and I was home by myself. And so I picked up podcasting, and it's been something that I've enjoyed so much and that I truly, truly love. But I don't know how far this is going to go, and I don't know how many years I'm going to be doing this, right? I'm trying to promote it. Numbers are doing really good. Little promo, if you're not subscribed, everything is Let's Get an Insight. Definitely would recommend to follow the podcast, and then follow the TikTok, because I also post a lot on there. Or I'm starting to post a lot on there. But aside from that, I'm like, okay, this is what brings me joy. This is what brings me happiness. But it's not really bringing in an income where I can drop what I'm doing and focus 100% in this, right? And I would love to start a business, because I think my happiness would be somewhere where social media is involved, because I've always been so attracted to social media. But it's also a place that's saturated, and it's hard to start now, and I see that firsthand because I study a lot of social media, and it's been tricky, right? And if you're somebody who's been feeling like that, who just doesn't know their purpose, who is in college or high school, or recently out of both and is now in a career path, but nothing feels like it has purpose, I'm not going to tell you to drop it, because obviously I can't tell you to drop it, because if that's what's bringing you financial freedom and that's what's paying the bills and putting food on the table, then obviously you can't drop it. But I would recommend that you now try to focus on things that you feel like bring you happiness, and that you feel that the purpose is because you want to get out of bed every morning because you want to go do that thing, right? For example, me this morning, I was so excited to wake up, get ready, have breakfast, so then I could podcast. That was my purpose for today. And I don't know what my purpose is going to be 5 years from now. My purpose can now be my child, right? And that's also okay. Or my purpose can be still my career. Or my purpose can still be, it can be different. It could look different. Or it can be a bunch of different things that bring me joy, right? Because again, yeah, I was very excited to start podcasting, and that's what brought me purpose today. But also, I am excited to go to the gym today. So I was excited to get up and get ready. That way, whenever I finish this episode, I could go to the gym. Okay, that was another side of purpose for me. And I think that as I take those steps every single day, and every single day just do something that brings me happiness, I'm just kind of hoping and praying that it will then lead me to somewhere where I feel content, right? And yeah, maybe I don't have a doctor's degree, and I'm not studying for a certain, I'm not getting education for a certain career path, and then I'm not going to graduate and then find that career path and then have fulfilled that and then live off the rest of my days, like working in that career, right? Because it seems, yes, I know that it's hard because you're getting an education, and that's hard, but I feel like it's a little easier because at least you know what you're doing with your life or what you want to do with your life, right? Like I've seen a couple people on TikTok that they're in law school, and they just talk about how much passion and like love they have for laws, and like to be a lawyer one day and be able to help people. And I'm like, and yeah, they talk about how hard it is and how hard schooling is and all of that, but it's all worth it because that's their purpose. So I'm like, oh my God, Miss Girl, like, where is mine? Like, how do I figure mine out? And I'm not sure. I guess that's literally what this episode was, is I'm not sure. And that's okay. And it's okay if you also don't know. And we're here to figure it out together. So I am going to try to figure it out, and I'm going to do updates on this. I'm going to, like try to slowly, without putting too much pressure on me, figure out certain things in my life, right? So I think that the easiest way that that it makes sense in my brain is look at my love life, look at my career life, look at my physical, look at my emotional, look at my mental, look at all of these different points in my life and see if I find what brings me happiness in that, right? Like, let's, for example, take love life. If I feel that right now in this moment, what brings me purpose is that I don't have a love life, that I want to be alone, and that I want to find love within myself, that's what's going to bring me purpose. That's the purpose, right? So I'm going to write that down. Love myself, loving myself. And I'm going to work at that every single day. Do something, help myself grow, connect with myself. I'm going to look at my financial life. Okay, financially, what would be ideal for me, right? How can I, from these hobbies that I love and that I find passion in, start to make an income and work at that? Is it posting more? Is it being more consistent? Is it showing my face more? Like, okay, now those are my purpose in order to get me to that end goal. Okay, in my mental health, okay, what am I lacking? What do I need to do to get me to my end purpose, right? And I'm going to try that. It's going to be a little experiment, and I'm going to update you guys throughout the journey. And I'm even thinking about maybe like vlogging it. You can go subscribe to the YouTube. It's Let's Get an Insight. There's no videos. There's literally no subscribers, but you can go if you're interested in this journey, and let me know if you guys want me to vlog it or talk about it more. And yeah, this was a very short, very fast episode. But just know that wherever you are in life, if you are not happy, is it really worth it? We're only here for such short amount of time, and we should find our happiness. And I would recommend you to try to find yours and try to make those changes and find your purpose and work towards those every day, because we deserve it. It doesn't matter what your past looks like. You deserve to be happy, as long as you're not hurting yourself, you're not hurting anybody around you. You deserve to be happy. And with that being said, this was this week's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was very short, but I think it was short and sweet. And that's all. Have a good weekend. Bye.